Hey guys, Chris here, and just starting the webinar. What I'll do, open up the chat box if you're there. Just writing in it now. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Write down the chat box there. If you are there, I've just come back from CrossFit session, as you can see in the gym clothing. We're going to get straight into the session really quick. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear, and I'm just about to share my screen. Rivaldo, awesome to see you there, buddy. Melissa, you can hear me, fantastic. Just give it a couple more seconds while we have a couple more people join the session. I had a session this morning. We got a couple more people joining. Awesome to see everyone there. Melissa, Elvado, Andy, you can hear me loud and clear. Fantastic. If you are there, guys, and you're joining us right now, a couple more people joining in. Make sure you say hello down below. Let me know where you're dialing in from. And we'll give it one more minute before we jump into it. As I was mentioning, I had a session this morning. I did 2 time zones for this session so everyone could be taking advantage of it. We had a couple of tech issues, unfortunately, but this one's looking nice and smooth. Did a whole lot of tests today, double checked with the software company. So we should be able to go through this really smoothly and all good as well. Heath, awesome to see you there from the Gold Coast, buddy. Hopefully the weather's warm. I think there's a couple of storms. I spoke to someone in Brisbane today. Steve from Melbourne. And it's nice and beautiful here in Sydney. Have we got anyone else from around the world other than Australia? This time zone's probably more better for Australia. That's why I did the 2 time zones. Anyways, guys, give it one more second and then I'm going to jump straight into it. This is going to be a super exciting training. I'm absolutely pumped. I just got back from CrossFit, hence the gym equipment, probably a little bit sweaty, energy high. Andrew, awesome to see you there too. And yeah, I'm pumped about this session, guys. It's just going to be really actionable. This is going to be one of the best, probably the most anticipated trainings in a while. I had loads and loads of people requesting, saying, Chris, can you do a training on how to use Facebook and Instagram advertising to grow a fitness business? So that's what we're here to do today. And I'm going to jump straight into it. Cool. So as I mentioned, the training is how to get high motivation, high paying online PT clients with Facebook and Instagram advertising, guys. Now, what are we going to be going through in this session? And just to remind you, the reason why it's not full screen is so I can see the chat box on the side. If anything, any questions, anything resonates, just comment below. Melissa, it's a bit stormy on the Gold Coast. I thought as much. I think that storm up north is rolling through. Hopefully we don't get it down here in Sydney. Anyways, what we're going to be covering today, guys, as you can see on the screen, 1, why Facebook and Instagram advertising is the #1 way to grow your online fitness business right now. And the #1 way to do it simply and consistently, which is what it's all about. I'm also going to take you through how to get $10,000 in sales for every $1,000 you spend in advertising. A lot of people spend, $100, $200, $1,000 on Facebook and make back nothing. We're going to be talking about how to get what's called a 10 times ROI, return on investment, ROI. And that is what, if you spend $1,000, you make back 10,000. If you spend 10,000, you make back 100,000, and that's a 10 ROI. What we're also going to go through today is a very critical aspect you need to know about to be successful with Facebook and Instagram advertising, and that is what's called the message to market match concept. I'm going to take you through that. Thereafter, we're going to go and pull apart some high-performing ads. The anatomy of a high-performing ad. So literally, you can cut and paste this template, replicate this template, and you'll know that you will have a high-performing ad copy. We're going to go through a couple of different ads from different niches as well. So that's going to be an awesome one as well. We're also going to go through how to get only high-paying, high-motivation online clients with advertising as well, which is really important. Cool. We've only got about 30 minutes in the session. I'm going to run through that in a second. It's a short and sharp one. It's going to be full of actionable stuff. No theory, all actionable stuff. So I'll be trying to push through it quite quickly, make this quite dynamic. If you asked, comment in the chat box and I'll clarify anything as well. I want to make this a good two-way conversation. So before we start, I always like to start with a quote to start with. Why are you here today? It's always good to ask yourself, why are you here today? And a quote that I love, begin with the end in mind. Now, beginning with the end in mind is the most critical thing when it comes to advertising, when it comes to business, when it comes to all of that sort of stuff. You need to whatever you're commencing today, you need to begin with the end in mind, where you want to be in the future, and you want to be on that journey today. Now, think to yourself, the results you're getting right now, your business you're in right now, can you sustain the results you're currently getting right now for the next 6 months, the next year, next 5 years, next 10 or 20 years? If not, something needs to change. You need to take action and begin with the end in mind. Where do you want to be in 20 years' time, 30 years' time, 40 years' time? If it's not what you're currently, the results you're currently getting or what you're currently doing, then you need to begin with the end in mind. And that's what this is all about, is helping you build your skills with Facebook and Instagram advertising so you can skill up around that space and get to where you want to be in your business and in your life. Cool. So for those of you who I haven't had the pleasure of chatting with, or we haven't met in person or online digitally, my name's Chris. I'm the guy on the left. Andy, my business partner, is the guy on the right. And before we get into the training, I just need to explain why you should be listening to me. You know, a lot of people can sit here and talk about, I know this and I know that. And a lot of it, unfortunately, these days is a bit of BS. And I just want to make it clear, this is not to impress you. This is not to big up myself in any way, shape or form. But as you can see here, this is our Facebook and Instagram business advertising account, TribeFit.co. You can see it up there. This is a 6-month snapshot, 1st of September to 5th of March. It's 6 months and maybe 3 days, 4 days, there or thereabouts. I took this yesterday the day before. And as you can see there, that's our spend over that 6-month period, a little bit over $145,000 in spend, in advertising spend. I'm not doing this to impress you. You know, whoop-de-doo for me. Why is that important for you? If I spent that much in 6 months, and this is just a 6-month snapshot, if I spent that, you know, last year, 2 years, 3 years, and so on, if we spent that much and we didn't know what we were doing and we didn't make money back from the spend, we'd be broke. I'd probably be homeless and I wouldn't be on this training with you right now. The second reason why this is important and why you should care, because we spend so much, we can test faster than anyone else. We test things and we get truckloads of data fast, and we always need to be at the bleeding edge, the cutting edge of advertising to be able to get those results. So in comparison to someone that maybe only spends $1,000 every month, we can learn faster. We have to learn faster because we're trying and testing more things because we've got bigger budgets. So as a result, you don't need to, all the training I'm going to be showing you today, you don't need to spend that much. You don't need to make the mistakes. You don't need to make the learnings. I'm going to be giving them to you so that it's cheaper and is faster for you rather than actually having to do the hard work and the spend and all that sort of stuff as well on your own site. Now, the quick rules before we get into it. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. If you're thinking you're going to jump on this webinar and after the webinar, click 2 buttons on your computer and your bank account will have an extra $1 million in there, then unfortunately, this session is not for you. There's plenty of get-rich-quick schemes out there on the internet. Feel free to check out their stuff. What I'm going to show you, it works. It's all going to be actionable. I'm going to make it as simple as possible. It's going to be very powerful stuff we're going through, but it takes effort. You're going to have to take action and implement these things after this training, and that's how you'll get results. Now, we've got 25 minutes today of training, and then I'm going to give 5 minutes Q&A, live Q&A at the end. So if you've got any questions at any time, write them in the comment box, in the chat box. Anything resonates, comment in the chat box. Let me know. If I'm going too fast, because we've only got a short period of time, we're going to be going through some awesome stuff today. If you need any clarification or anything, or I'm going too fast, write in the chat box as well. I'm going to try and make this nice and punchy, and I want to make it a two-way conversation. So get involved, guys. I want you to be getting involved. And finally, I won't be selling anything today. It's all education. I will, at the end, make an offer to the right people to jump on a one-on-one call with me to see if you'd like some help, to see if I can help you, but more on that later. Cool. So let's get straight into it, guys. Now, when it comes to building a business, you need traffic. What does traffic mean? It means people, targeted people. Now, there's only 2 ways that you can get people to your sales funnel in online marketing, offline marketing, your gym, whatever it might be. There's only 2 ways you can get people through. One is paid traffic, and that is like Facebook and Instagram advertising. You need to pay for the advertising. There is also what's called organic traffic, and that's what people term as free traffic. And those are things like blogging, SEO, PR, social media posting, going groups, word of mouth, cold calling, hanging around the gym, just trying to get leads. That is called free traffic. Now, you need to know, even though the term free traffic, both have a cost. And the worst part about it, I'm going to explain what I mean by that in a second, but the worst part about it you need to know is organic traffic is not predictable. Paid traffic is predictable day in and day out. To give you an example, this is a little bit of a throwback to me looking pretty stupid there in that screenshot to the right. 2011, 2012, that's me being interviewed on one of Australia's largest news channels as an expert in fitness. Below that is my article in Men's Health magazine that I was interviewed on as an expert as well. That is what's called PR. I worked really hard to get those, and I had a lot of other things like that, but I got very little business and very little clients out of it. You'd think, I originally thought if I got on TV and I was getting interviewed and I was an expert in magazines, then life would be awesome. But I'd get something in a magazine, maybe I'd get a client. And then I'd get something in a magazine 2 or 3 times and I'd hear crickets. It is not predictable, but you have to do a hell of a lot of work to try and get it. The reason why paid advertising rocks, guys, and I'm going back to what I was talking about before just to explain it, there is only 2 things in life that you can invest, and that is time or that is money. Now, money you can make, money you can invest, money you can grow. Your time, on the other hand, you use it and you can never get it back. You can't even buy time. You can't even buy time back. So you need to remember organic traffic, even though people call it free, it is manual. It takes your time. You need to spend your time to do it. People, unfortunately, stay in this space because they think it's safe. But guys, it is not a safe place to stay if you truly want to be successful in your business. Why? Because if your business doesn't grow fast enough, unfortunately, you're going to have to close it down at some stage because you need to pay the bills. You will have to get a side job. And at best, your dream fitness business will become a side gig that zaps all your spare time if you stay in that manual time organic traffic format. You will become the biggest bottleneck because you physically can't work more than 24 hours a day. You need to eat, you need to sleep, you need to enjoy life, spend time with family and friends. And if you stay in this space, you need to know if you stop working and doing the hustle and grind, it stops, which is not fun. And even worse than that, it is very difficult to scale fast. You need to be successful in business, you need to quite quickly be able to get your business up to a level where it's paying your bills so you can put your time, your energy, your focus to it and cut away the other stuff and move in the direction you want to get into. If your business takes 2-3 years before it's even generating some income and you need a job on the side at the same time, unfortunately, your business won't get the energy and the time that it deserves and it needs to actually grow. So you need to have a way to scale fast enough to at least get it to a level where it's paying your bills so then you can keep putting in that energy and time and be solely focused to it. Now, with paid advertising, you want to use it to do the heavy lifting for you so you can create a consistent and predictable flow of profitable clients. Get leads and clients while you sleep or even while you take time off. Scale fast, and it is literally like rocket fuel to your business. The more you pour on it, the bigger the fire gets. There is an unlimited scale with advertising because it doesn't depend on your time, and there is total predictability with advertising as well. You will know once you have it up and running, every time you spend X, you'll make back Y. And I'm not talking about putting out ads and getting likes and reach and engagement. I'm talking about clients, getting clients in your business, getting income coming into your business as well. The other really cool thing about paid advertising is you can dramatically increase your impact and reach faster than you can in any other way. And what does that all result in? A hell of a lot of fun because you're having success in your business. You're impacting and reaching more people and getting your word out there more in a fastest possible way. Now, Facebook and Instagram, for example, they're very good at taking your money. If you have no idea what you're doing, they will take your money day in and day out. The goal, and what I'm going to be taking you through and showing you, is how to be better than them so that you're able to generate money from those advertisements rather than just sinking cash in and not getting a return. Now, let's get into the nitty gritty. you need to know your rules of thumbs when it comes to advertising. You need to know what's a successful ad, what's not a successful ad. You need to know early on, because, you know, let me know, comment down below or in the chat box, guys, if you've ever done a campaign and maybe you didn't know if it worked, or you weren't sure whether you could just spend more or spend less, and you did an ad, maybe you left it on for a week and maybe spent $200 and didn't know early on whether you should turn it on or turn it off, so you just kept it on and maybe you didn't get much results. If that's the case, comment in the chat box below, let me know. But generally, it's because you didn't know the early on KPIs that you need to know around your advertising. Generally, within 2 or 3 days, you should be able to know whether to turn off an ad or leave an ad on, because it's going to work really, really well. If you don't know that, you might have an awesome ad, but you might turn it off because you don't know if it's awesome. Or alternatively, you might have a terrible ad and you keep running it and you keep wasting your money, but because you don't know whether it was a good ad or a bad, then you end up wasting money. So here's the rules of thumb, and I'm going to work top down. So first and foremost, you need to target a click-through rate. Elvado, that's correct. Chris, it's unfortunate, mate. It is correct with a lot of people. Now, click-through rate, CTR percentage. What that means is if you put out an ad, what's the percentage of people clicking through when they see your ad to your funnel? Now, what that refers to, if you have a 3% click-through rate or 3% CTR, every time your ad is showed to 100 people, 3 out of that 100 click on it and go through to your funnel. Your ideal targets is to get your click-through rate between about 3 and 15%. The higher end is what's remarketing, but for most people, for ads, you should target somewhere between about 3 and 5% click-through rate. Why? It'll decrease your cost per click, which is the next line. CPC, cost per click. Your ideal target for cost per click is between $1 and $2. You can get cheaper, but what I'm doing is I'm giving you rules of thumb, conservative rules of thumbs to start with. If you can get better than these numbers, rock and roll. If you're within these numbers, rock and roll. If you're outside these numbers, you know where you need to work on specifically. Now, $1 to $2 cost per click. Off the back of that, if you're getting $1 to $2 cost per clicks, you should, every pretty much 20 people that hit, 10 or 20 people that hit your page should turn into a highly motivated application lead. That'll mean you're spending $20 every time. Every time you spend $20, you get someone booking in a time in your calendar, and they're motivated. They're applying to you to become a client of yours. I'm not talking about an email address. I'm not talking about someone just visiting your website or giving you a like or anything. I'm talking $20 per actual high motivated lead. Someone's giving you their phone number and booked in a time to actually have a conversation with you because they're applying to become your client. Now, these are conservative numbers again. If you close, say, 1 in 5 of those calls, then every $100 you spend, you would acquire a new customer. Five people, you have 5 calls, each of them costing $20. You make 1 sale out of those 5 calls. That's $100, 5 times 20. Now, that's what's called your CPA, your cost per acquisition. That's a conservative number. Most people convert at much higher numbers than that, but you'll see the numbers still work with this. I'm giving conservative to start with. Now, if you're charging $1,000 per client, like we teach you 12-week programs, $1,000 per client, then you've spent $100 to acquire a client. That client has then paid you back $1,000. So you spent $100, you made back $1,000. That's what's called a 10 times ROI, return on investment. Your goal is to get somewhere between about 8 to 10 ROI on every campaign you do. Every campaign you do. You know, you can get downwards to about 5 or 6 times ROI, that's fine. But as you can see by the math just there, and I'm being conservative, 10 times ROI is very doable. Now, ask yourself, how much have you spent in the last year or the last month in Facebook and Instagram advertising? Did you make back 8 to 10 times on what you spent? For example, if you spent $50, did you make $500? If you spent $1,000, did you make $10,000? Did you, if you didn't do that, did you at least make your money back? Now, if you didn't at least make your money back, you've got a lot to learn, and that's what we're going to go through today. If you did just make your money back, still not good enough. You need to be able to scale your business. You need to be able to generate profit so you can reinvest and keep growing. And that's why the ROI, 10 times ROI, is really important. Because if you put in 1,000, you make back 10,000, the next day you're going to be more than happy to put in another 1,000 and make another 10,000. And that's how you can grow rapidly. That's why it's important. Cool. Now, I'm just going to show you really, really quickly how a 10,000 a month business looks over a 4-week period. Just to say, every client's worth $1,000. First week, you get 2 clients. If you're getting 2 to 3 clients, just 2 to 3 clients per week, the end of the 4th week, you've got 10 clients, you've got $10,000 a month, about 120 grand a year. So it's very, very straightforward, and you don't need a hell of a lot of people. What does that look like from an advertising spend? I talked conservatively before about closing 1 in 5, but let's just say after a while you've gotten your conversions up, you're closing 1 in 2. You'd need 22 leads to get 10 clients or 11 clients and make $11,000. If you're spending $20 a lead, you only need to spend $440 to make that. Let's be more conservative. Let's say you're closing 1 in 3. $20 a lead, you need 33 leads to get 11 clients. You can see the math there, and it's no doubt looks pretty awesome. Now, we need to get into what I talked about earlier, message to market match, and I'm going to explain all the specifics around this, but you need to understand this concept to be successful with advertising. Your goal is to get an irresistible message and match it to the right person, your market, and then push that person through to a funnel that filters out the people that aren't motivated, increases your value, gets them to jump through a couple of hoops and increases your value, and then gives you a highly motivated, high-paying client that sees your value at the end. It spits that out. Now, this is our PT Freedom Funnel. We talk about it all the time. If you don't know what that is, reach out to me, Chris at TribeFit.co, TribeFit.co. Let me know. But you need to understand this concept. I'm going to take you through the details of these right now. Cool. Before we do that, you need to understand, before you start any campaign, if you have done campaigns before and you don't have tracking in place, you will not know how to do this, and all of this will fall into place. There's a thing called Facebook Smart Pixel. It's a lot easier than it used to be. A couple of years ago, it used to be a lot more techy. You do not need to know IT. You do not need to know tech to know how to do this. You need to measure. You need to be able to measure. Otherwise, you will not know. Once you have these things in place, you literally can see how many people hit every single stage, every page of your website, and you can track it really well. Now, I'm not going to take you through exactly how to install it, but for those of you who haven't got this in place yet, first step, you need to do this. This is where it's found. If you go to Facebook Business Manager, click on this little drop down here. It'll show this here. Click on pixels, create a new pixel. It'll bring up this page here, and it tells you exactly step by step how to put this into your website, where to put this in your website. It is simple. It is straightforward. Once again, if you have issues with this, Facebook give you exact step-by-steps on how to do it. But if you still have issues with it, reach out with me and I can point you in the right direction. Send me an email on that, Chris at TribeFit.co. I'm just going to go through that quickly. So now, once your pixels are in place, you should be able to, specifically the goal is to be able to look at your account, and this is one of our fitness business accounts. Obviously, trying to block off the namings of it because we don't want people just going and copying our businesses. It's happened in the past accidentally when we've shown things, and it's a stupid move for us. But what I want to show you is this is what your campaigns should look like, or your businesses should look like. If you look down here, 366 leads. It tells you exactly how many leads, not clicks, not landing page visits, not likes, not engagement, how many leads. Average cost per lead for all of those 366 leads over about a 6-month period. As you can see here, average cost per lead, $15.03. Going back to the KPIs I talked about before, I told you rule of thumb is anything under $20. This is $15. I want to show you proof that it is doable over a long period of time, over a good spend and a high volume of leads. This is over a 6-month period. Let's say it's 182 days in 6 months. 366 leads is about 2 leads per day at an average of $15 per application. This is not per email address. This is not per website traffic landing or anything. This is someone going in, giving you their phone number, their name, and picking a time to chat with you because they know all about your offer, what you do, and they want to reach out with you to talk about whether you would be a fit for them. It's very doable, as you can see, but the key thing is you can have pure clarity. You can bring up one page and go, okay, I'm within my KPIs, rock and roll. I'm killing it. I can scale this up. I'm out. This one's outside my KPIs. I can turn it off, or I can start to work on it. Now, how top level do you need to set up every Facebook campaign? This is very, very important. Very, very important. Not many people know this. Not many people do this. You should always target, these are top level, and then I'm going to go into the nitty gritties in a sec. You should always target by gender. Let's just say you target males, it should always be targeted to males. Target by an age range. Daily budgets. You do not want to spend any more than about between $2 and $5 per ad set, which I'm going to explain in a sec, per day. You do not need to spend high numbers. You need to split test, have a couple of things out there, and do low budgets. Lower budgets give you better results because Facebook is trying to incentivize you to scale up. This is a trick. This is a hack. This is not lifetime budgets. I'm talking about daily budgets. Small budgets, many campaigns, you'll get the most out of your ad performance. Now, set up all your campaigns objectives as conversion. Facebook will auto-optimize and give you the cheapest conversions possible. It's not clicks, it's not traffic, it's conversions you want. It is lead conversions you want. Ideally, you should target your country first, the country you live in first. It's always easier unless you have, for whatever reason, an audience that's outside your country. Cool, but 99% of people should start with their own country. Still image or video ads, they both work. That's cool. This is the most critical thing of recent times. Untick what's called the auto expand audience. I've put down a screenshot here. When you go into an ad and you'll most likely remember going in here and writing in some interest for your targeting, Facebook in the last month or two have implemented this thing here. It is auto tick to be on. What it does is it drains your money. It allows Facebook to show your ads to more people, take away your control, take away your restriction of your spend, and they want you to spend more money because they want to make more money. So you need to go in here every time you do an ad and untick this box. It is auto ticked on. Why? Because Facebook want you to use it so that you spend more money, which is not the goal. Now, as we talked about before, message to market match. I'm going to go through message and marketing match right now and what that looks like. Let's just say, for example, my niche was males, as we talked about before. I had an age target of 30 to 45. And their goal, top level, was looking to lose belly fat. Now, what you need to do is you need to find the right message, which is your ad, and then you need to find the right market. Where is the right people actually sitting? Where are they hanging out? And you need to find specifically where they're hanging out. Most people will do one ad creative, one ad copy through to, and then target men's health and bodybuilding and gym and Tony Robbins and weight and dads all together in one. That week, they might get a result. 6 weeks after that, they keep spending and they're wondering why they're not getting results. And it's not predictable. It's because they don't know where the actual result came from. They grouped it all into one. What we're going to do is find specifically laser pointed where the results are so you can day in and day out continue to get results. We're also going to find what is the best message. So it's message to market match. You're trying to find your best message, trying to find your best market. You will not know off the top of your head. That's why you need to test. So the goal, write one ad. It's easy. Write one ad. Find 3 different images. So as you can see here, ad copy 1, image 1, ad copy 1, image 2, ad copy 1, image 3. It is the same copy all the way through, 3 different images. You want to test them against each other because you do not know which image might work best. Maybe it's a photo of a guy with his son. Maybe it's a guy with his shirt off. Maybe it's a guy at the gym. You don't know which one's going to resonate the best with your market. So you need to test. Now, you want to test different, you got your message. Now you want to test different markets separately. So for example, let's just say I wanted to test 6 different interests. Set up one ad going to men's health on its own. Set up one ad to bodybuilding on its own. Gym, Tony Robbins, weight, dads, for example. Spend $20 to each. I'm only taking $100 here. I'm going to spend $20 singularly to each of these. Now, if you have the tracking in place, what that'll do for you is after about 2-3 days after you spend that $20, and we're only talking about $20 here, you'll be able to see, okay, ad copy 1, image 1 didn't work. Ad copy 1, image 2 rocked, it pumped. Ad copy 1, image 3 didn't work either. Great, I found my high performing message. Now, men's health worked, Tony Robbins worked, dads worked. Each one of those brought me a client on board. Weights didn't do anything, gym didn't do anything, bodybuilding didn't do anything. Now, what you're doing is you're finding the right message, your right market, and then thereafter, this is what your campaigns will look like. You will have a laser targeted, consistent format. You know, this is the ad that rocks, You know that this targeting of interest rocks, these three, and you'll know that every time you put that winning ad in front of your winning audience, you will get clients straight away. Literally, you'll be able to turn on and turn off whenever you need clients, and you know that it will perform day in and day. It's about finding that predictability, and that's the very, very important thing. So let me know if this makes sense. Hopefully it's not being too complicated, but I'm just showing you top level the strategy on how to find message to market match and where people go wrong. Now, we're going to go through the anatomy of high performing ad. We're hitting pretty much the 30-minute mark. I'm going to rip through this stuff, and then we're going to have some Q&A at the end. But if anything's resonating, guys, write in the chat box. If you've made these mistakes before, write in the chat box. But now we're going to go through, we've gone through how to find your market. Now we're going to talk about how to write the most irresistible ad possible. Now, the anatomy of a high performing ad. Every time you write an ad, you want to follow this structure here. Attention, interest, desire, action. Go from top down. You need to grab the person's attention. You need to get them to stop. It doesn't matter how good your ad is if they don't stop and they don't read it. You need to grab their attention. Then you want to move into interest and desire aspects thereafter. And then finally, where to take action. You've got to send them to where you want them to go. I'm going to give you another 2 examples of that and what they look like. Attention, interest, desire, action. Now, first and foremost, this one's probably the clearest, and I would say probably the best out of them. As you can see here, attention, middle-aged men who want a proven way to lose the unwanted stubborn fat and stack on muscle. That would grab my attention if I was that person. That would make me stop and make me want to read more. Gives some details, builds the interest and the desire, gives them an action. Awesome image here, grabs the attention. Awesome headline here, proven customized training and nutrition systems to lose the unwanted stubborn fat and stack on muscle. That's the attention grabbers here and here, and the image. Here's the interest and desire. Here's the action. Let's give another example, a completely different niche. Hey ladies, we're looking for 10 lucky participants who are ready to step up and join us in our transformation challenge. Calling out your market, grabbing their attention. Now, this is some really good copy for interest and desire. Does it sound like you? Are you desperate to make a change? Would you like to step out with total confidence, tired of feeling that you're not the best version of you? You're just building the desire, building the interest, talking about the pain points, and then once again, the action. Apply now, click on the link. Very clear here, it's a picture of a lady. We're looking for 10 women, limited spaces, some good stuff there as well. So as you can see, 3 different niches, 3 different ads, all following a very similar structure. You can play around with things, but you need to make sure that your attention is always at the top. Your goal is to get people to stop and read on. It doesn't matter how good your copy is down here if they don't stop. So attention, pretty much your headline here and your image are about 60 to 70% of the whole performance of the ad. So work on those things and call out your market to get them to stop. Now, with that structure, guys, with the training that I've just kind of taken you through then top level, this is just, 3 examples of niches, but you need to know that these lessons, these structures, the strategy on how you do advertising in its strategic format. You've no doubt seen how successful hundreds and hundreds of trainers from all different lives, all different countries, all different ages, all different starting points, some that like tech, some that hate tech. These strategies work across the board. So I'm trying to stress upon you that if you approach your advertising in this mentality, knowing that is a journey of finding, pretty much testing, through to analyzing, through to scaling your winners. If you work on that structure, if you follow a template like this for your ads, and you keep your finger on the pulse with your tracking and make sure that you are keeping to these KPIs, you will know whether an ad's going to perform or it's not going to perform. You'll be able to cut off, it's what's called ride your winners, cut your losers. You want to ride your winners long and cut your losers short. So you never want to have a bad ad that's outside these KPIs. If it's outside these KPIs for a day or two, cut it. If it's within these KPIs, ride it. Ride it, scale your business and take advantage of that growth and have a hell of a lot of fun doing it as well. So you need to know those rules of thumb. You need to have the tracking in place. And then as long as you run with this strategy of finding your audience, of this structure of writing your ads, you will have good click-through rates, you will get good people coming through, and as a result, like I said, just like all of the people that we've helped to date, works in any niche, any structure, etc., etc. Now, if you do that, you will no longer have ads where you get a hell of a lot of clicks or a hell of a lot of likes, but people come to your website, they don't take action, nothing happens, whatever it might be. You need to have a good message through to the right market, through to a high-performing sales funnel to pull people through. Now, it's not good enough to have a great message, great targeting, and send them to a brochure website. You need to send them through to a high-performing sales funnel that only has one goal in mind, and that goal is to convert them, bring them through to apply and become a client. Now, as I talked about before, we've kind of gone through most of the training today. As I talked about before, guys, if you do need help with this stuff, here's how it works. If you want to reach out and have a chat, you can book a 30-minute chat with me one-on-one. And in that call, what we'll do is we'll review your current offer, your niche, your background, your goals. We'll go through whether, I think you can be successful in online. We'll talk about some of the stuff you're doing advertising-wise and how to tweak it. And I can also give you an estimate on exactly how much revenue I think you could be getting online. Been doing this for long enough with enough niches, enough people. I've got a pretty good call on that after a 30-minute call and the questions we go through. If I'm certain I can help and you want help, I can offer, I'll offer to work with you to build your business, your systems, your structures, your offer, the programs, the funnels, and all that sort of stuff as well. So if that sounds of interest, you can go through to this website here. I'll paste it in the chat box just so it's a little bit easier rather than having to type it in yourself. Give me one sec. Just put it in the chat box now. Check, that's live there. Or you can email me at chris@tribefit.co, guys. And basically, if we do talk about working together, we've got a 90-day coaching program. We work together one-on-one and help you grow your business. And basically, what we do in the 90 days, first and foremost, is define your uniqueness. We show you how to claim your mountain, become the king or queen of your mountain and own it so people reach out and chase you. We show you how to attract the right clients with the advertising structures we just talked about, but also we've got free client getting strategies we take you through as well. We show you how to convert them, turn traffic and people through to your sales funnel, convert them into application calls, and then how to turn those calls and convert those calls into high-paying clients. And then finally, we take you through how to actually deliver your programs in a leveraged and automated way. So your clients love you, they get great results, they want to stick around long-term, but you don't get bogged down in the admin and you can work on your business rather than in your business. Basically what we do, it's the PT Freedom System. We give you the templates of all the systems, the funnels, so you don't have to worry about any of the tech. We give you the proven templates and also the support one-on-one, and we can obviously talk a little bit more about that on the call. Like I said, if you're keen, if it's of interest, click on that link or you can email me at chris@tribefit.co. You can see it down here below. And we can, what you'll do, you'll get to a calendar. You can see my availabilities. Click a time that suits for yourself. I'll give you a call then and we can have a chat. We'll go through your offer, your niche, your background, your goals, and I'll let you know whether I think you can achieve those goals. If you're fresh to online or you've got a couple of clients and you're hitting a ceiling, you can't grow it, both perfect. And like I said, if I'm certain I can help, then we can talk about how we can go from there. So if that's interest, reach out, say g'day, send me an email or click on that link. Now, what we're going to do is have a bit of a Q&A time, as I mentioned. If you've got any questions, comment down below. Alvaro, 2 questions there. First question, Chris, thank you for that. I have a question. Does this apply to Instagram as well? Awesome question, and lucky you asked that because I want to clarify. Facebook bought Instagram. Now, why does that matter? Every time we talk about Facebook advertising, we are talking about Facebook and Instagram at the exact same time. Instagram, in fact, right now is probably one of the most profitable ways to advertise. Facebook works awesome. Instagram's a little bit newer. As a result, it's a bit cheaper and you can advertise on both platforms just from within the Facebook advertising manager. So when I'm talking Facebook ads, I'm generally talking Facebook and Instagram You can do one or the other, or you can do the two together. These structures, these strategies work on both. And as I said, Instagram's actually pumping at the moment for a lot of our clients and a lot of our businesses, as well as to is Facebook. But Instagram is turning out at the moment a little bit cheaper to get clients, which is awesome as well. To further on to that question, or both at the same marketing ad. Yeah, you actually hit the nail on the head there, buddy. They're both the same. They're both in the same platform. Literally, when you write an ad and you do your marketing, it gives you a drop down that says, do you want to show this on Facebook? Do you want to show this on Instagram? Do you want to show this on stories? Do you want to show this through Facebook Messenger, et cetera, et cetera? And you just click these different boxes and then it sprays it across where you want to spray it. So awesome, fantastic, thank you. Awesome to hear, mate, that it answered your question. I'll give it another minute while see if we've got any other question, guys. Give it another minute. I know that we've gone slightly over time. Loads to go through today. Hopefully you took a lot from it. Hopefully I didn't talk too fast because I've come back from CrossFit and probably the energy's a little bit high. Give it another minute. See if we've got any other questions. Good old green tea here. Fantastic, nothing coming through. That's cool. It seems like everything was nice and clear, which is important. That's what I wanted to do. So, like I said, guys, if you do want to connect, if you want to touch base and see whether, if you want to talk about whether if you're fresh to online and you want to grow your online fitness business, or you've got a couple of online clients, but you're capped, you don't know how to scale consistently and predictably, and you do need help, reach out. We can jump on a one-on-one call and go through all specifics there. That's it from me, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed the training. I want to do a lot more of these sort of things, probably once a month. I'm going to try and do, two different time zones. The first one, we had a hell of a lot of people from the Northern Hemisphere jumping on. Unfortunately, the tech screwed up a little bit. This one's been a lot smoother, which is awesome. So thanks heaps, guys, for coming to the training. Hopefully you got loads out of it, and reach out if you want to chat. And even if you just want to say, awesome session, Chris, or anything like that, you can send me an email, chris@tribefit.co. That's it from me, guys. Have an awesome evening, day, wherever you are in the world, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.